Hi, welcome to this video in the bronze version of Workshop Software Onboard training. In this one, we're going to have a quick look at reports. So on the menu, you have reports and then business reports. And in here, you've got basically the reports are broken up into their various sections. So you've got sales and stock and workshop and mechanics and so on. So if you click on this, it will drop down those reports. So for example, in relation to the sales. Now, many of the reports have got various parameters that you can run them by. So for example, if I want to run a sales report, maybe for the current month, I can just click the beginning and end date. I might want to order that by maybe the date, maybe by the invoice type, by customer, by whatever. I might want to search by a specific customer, or maybe an invoice number or a registration, and you can put in the start. If you're going to search by, you can put in a start and an end range, okay? And then you can just say, I want to print out everything, or I want to print out invoices or credits. Now, I won't go through all of these others, but basically most of these are fairly straightforward as to what the parameters mean. So once you set your parameters, you click on this button here to print it, and it will print out the report. So there it is. This is broken down by date. So here's one date, the next date, the next date, and it's giving you the totals for each date. Okay, so there's invoices, totals, invoice totals, for example. And then it gives you a grand total at the bottom, gross profit percentage, and so on. So gives you all of that information. I can then click the print button up here if I wanted to print it out. This is now a PDF, so I could save or download the PDF if I wanted to. If I download it, I could email it or whatever I wanted to do as well. So that's how you print out a report, pretty straightforward. Now, there's a sales report, which is pretty much just transactions. The sales breakup will break up things like, I'll just quickly run this one for you because this is a pretty cool one where it breaks up the labor, stock, consumables, and sublets. So it gives you all of the different types of transactions there. And if you did it as a summary, it will just give you total labor, total stock, total consumables. So you get a good overview of what the breakup of, where you're selling stuff. So you see that you can get the summary or you can get the extended information. So this, for example, is all the labor. So this is the invoice number, who the customer was, and the labor details and all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty straightforward to, again. The item sales report is a sales report, but by items. So you're outputting the items. So this is really cool. Again, if I just go back to the beginning of the month, go to today's date, and I might output this by maybe the group, right? So if I output that by group, and then what this does is this has got no product group, and probably in my data here, okay, it doesn't have many groups, but you kind of get a bit of an idea about if you had that broken up into groups, you could output it by group, or you might want to output it by maybe supplier, for argument's sake. So what were my sales by which supplier? So there's no supplier on these. Have I got suppliers? No. Okay. My bad in terms of my setting up of my demo data in here, but you kind of get the idea that you can output it by different types. Maybe we might have more luck with brand. Yeah, so this one's got no brand and so on. So you kind of, I guess you get the idea though. Sales by payment method. This is a really cool one for reconciling your till. So if you want to just output, let's just go back a few days. You probably would normally just do this for one day, but this would then print out all of the credit card, the cash, etc., and you can reconcile this against your till. So again, that's a pretty straightforward one. Then you got your stock reports, stock value and stock listing. You got some workshop reports, so work in progress when services are due, registrations, vehicle listing, some quotes that you've done, when you need to follow up, so any follow-ups that you might have put on to actual transactions themselves. Then you have the mechanic report, so you've got mechanic performance report, so that's the times that they've clocked on and clock off, and how profitable they are and effective labour rate if you're using the mechanic performance or the mechanic clocking, which you can do via the phone app. No labour times is a report of invoices or transactions that don't have any labour time, don't have any mechanic time clocked onto them. So if you are doing mechanic clocking and somebody forgot to clock on, this is the report that you can run just to see that they're not clocked on, or that what jobs they haven't clocked on to. The mechanics clocked on gives you a list of the mechanics that are currently clocked onto jobs. And then the mechanic timesheet is the timesheet of all of the jobs, all the clock-ons and clock-offs that you have done for a mechanic. So we've got customer reports, the balances. There's a couple of balance reports, customer listing, so sales by customer, basically customer deposits, and then billers, which actually isn't supported in the bronze, the biller system, but there is a biller report there. Supplier reports, the purchases, the item sales reports, the supplier listing and supplier balances, and then you have your logs. So you've got a log of emails, any voided transactions that you've done. So, you might have a team member that's gone and voided stuff. You can see when that was done. If you wanted to see the payment status of a particular transaction, you can look at that. And then you've got transaction log, event reports, and the SMS reports. So these are log reports, probably not used all that often, to be fair, but there are logs of various things that happen within the system. So that's the quick overview of the reports. I suggest you print a few out, have a play with them. There's some pretty cool information in there. This is the way you can make really great business decisions as well. So I would really recommend you utilizing those to get the most value. And as you've seen from the setup of our demo stock, if you wanted to get, for example, those stock reports, you want to make sure that the underlying data is actually set up really well. So, but that's entirely up to you. You can set it up as well as you want. Depends on what you want out of the system as well. But the reports are a great way to give you an insight into your business.